Let's get to some golf here. And we're joined now by Ryan Burr, part of the Golf Channel. And it's the fourth and final major of the season. It's wet out there, but a lot of birdies are popping up on the board. Hey, Ryan, it's Tiki and Tierney. How are you, buddy? What's happening?
Doing well, guys. Believe it or not, the sun is completely out now, mostly blue skies. Golf course is a disaster. Just out on a golf cart. A lot of people stuck. They got a lot of rain overnight. So, yeah, it's going to be a golfer's delight, especially as now that the rain and wind is out of here. I would expect much lower scores moving throughout the day.
I'm with you. Green light for all pins. Go get it and give it a chase there. And I don't know how much. I don't know that you can really quantify this, but I'm sure you could try. Because I was out there on Tuesday walking around during the practice round, Ryan, and obviously living, in the tri-state New York, New Jersey area, I know that we got smashed with rain on Monday night, about 2 inches or so. So the course was kind of benign before this even started, and now you mix in what went down last night and this morning. It probably is playing like the Shell Open at this point or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, Baltusrol has its defenses that the Shell Houston Open doesn't. The greens here are very tricky. They tried to put the pins in more difficult spots today, knowing that it was going to be a green light special. You saw Jordan Spieth today birdie 3 of his first 4 holes. With that said, guys like Dustin Johnson continue to struggle. When I came on the air, Dustin Johnson was only beating 5 club pros this week and losing to the other 13. I mean, it is remarkable what the odds-on Vegas favorite is doing this week.
Why is Jimmy Walker faring so well? We know he's not. I mean, he's been good. Obviously, he's great in the early part of PGA seasons, and then he kind of fades and misses cuts and majors and things of that nature. What's the difference for the PGA Championship this year?
Well, it was one day, so let's tap the brakes on Jimmy Walker.
Yep.
He's been a bit of a disaster all year.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, he always gets his wins and plays well in Hawaii and California, and that didn't happen this year. Yeah. He played poorly there. Really fell out. He was a lock for the Ryder Cup, and now he's down in the 20s in the points. He just hasn't played well, but he's continued to work vigilantly with Butch Harmon, his coach, and you have started to see signs. I would tell you guys, I would be beyond shocked if Jimmy Walker won this week. I just don't foresee that happening. The one time in the last 15 PGA Championships has your 18-hole leader gone on to win. It just doesn't happen very much, and would be surprised, very surprised if Jimmy was around on the weekend. I mean, he'll make the cut, but I don't think he'll figure in.
I don't think you're alone coming to that opinion. I'm with you. Ryan Burr, Golf Channel, also going to be doing stuff for the Olympics in studio. Will not be in Rio, but you will be doing the studio stuff. Mostly Olympics or a little bit of. I know you're going to be doing the. I know you're going to be doing the golf, but will you branch into some other sports, or is it primarily golf for the Olympics?
That was discussed. There were a couple different options out there, but because we are doing the men and the women with the Olympics, mm-hmm. and then it moves right into the FedEx Cup. It will be 2 consecutive weeks of Olympic stuff, and then I'm right off into the FedEx Cup, which then goes directly into the Ryder Cup. So, this year with the Olympics has been just insane. Obviously, 12 days ago I was in Scotland for Mickelson-Stenson, and now it's already day 2 of another major. So it's been a grind this year. Probably good news that it's a home game for the Olympics and that we can sleep in our own beds, and it'll be a lot of hours and a lot of golf, but it will be good to be home.
I got you. You mentioned Phil and being out at Royal Troon as you were, and we all watched it. About one rotation of the ball away from establishing a major record. 63 would have became 62 on Thursday. He loses despite shooting 65, and obviously Stenson was phenomenal. Listen, I'm not good enough at golf to understand or really measure how rust or a residual mental carryover from a previous tournament creeps into the next round. But early on, Phil was +4 yesterday, and then he kind of hit the reset button. He got rolling with a few birdies. Did you notice anything that was a carryover from Troon or no?
Yeah, listen, it is to contend in a major is a grind. It is way more difficult mentally than it is physically. To stay in, especially on that golf course at Troon with the wind, with the elements, with the different kind of grass and whatnot, to stay in for 72 holes like Phil did at 46 years of age, then to travel back, not able to go home, sleep in his own bed, come right here. Listen, there's one of two ways it could go. You just say, okay, he left his game in Scotland, and he's not going to have much to give, or you can make the argument it was probably the best 72 holes Phil's ever played in his career. And I know he won 5 majors, but he should have won that. I mean, Henrik Stenson played the greatest golf in the history of the game on Sunday, tying Johnny Miller. I mean, what Stenson did, Phil beat everyone else by 8, 9, 10 shots. So the question would be, did he leave it there, or is his game in such great shape that he can come and just throw it in autopilot and be able to contend here? Knowing Phil Mickelson the way I do and have watched him over the years, I was not expecting a whole lot from Phil this time around. For example, Mickelson's last win on the PGA Tour was the 2013 British Open Championship, which I watched Phil. The following major was at Oak Hill in Rochester, and I was on TV when Phil arrived in the parking lot on Tuesday, and he was carrying the claret jug. Now, this is, in this particular year, I mean, this is a month later.
Wow.
He's walking into his next major, and he's still carrying the claret jug.
Wow.
I said, if that's Tiger gets the claret jug and then hands it to someone 5 minutes after and never sees it again. He's on to the next deal. Phil, and to his credit, I mean, you should be able to bask in the glory, and he really did. But when you're doing that, it's also a little difficult to turn the page and reset the batteries. What Phil was able to do at the tail end yesterday with the 3 birdies, though, obviously puts him in a spot where if he can do something special today, he could get back in the mix. Be surprised if Phil was in contention Sunday here. I'd be very surprised.
Don't say that. Come on, Ryan. We want to watch Phil. We want to watch him. Let's go.
BT wants to watch Phil.
I think everybody does. Even if you don't like him, you want to see him, be Phil. Ryan Burr with us here, Golf Channel. Obviously, the PGA Championship about 20 miles from here at Bolt's Roll.
You know who I want to watch? I want to watch Jordan Spieth as he tries to make himself back to what he was last year. And he's starting this round off pretty well. 3 birdies in the first 9 holes, I believe, even though his tee shot on 8, I believe he's on right now, just kind of went a little errant, even though it's 17, his 8th hole of the day. Where do we see Jordan Spieth as? Obviously, it seems like he lost his swing for a little bit of this season. It may be coming back as he's sitting now at 3 under and only 2 back from Jimmy Walker.
Yeah, he lost to Tiki on the back 9 at the Masters.
Yeah, you're right.
It's true.
Had a sleeve in the green jacket. His 3rd major, he was 22 years old, would have won 2nd consecutive Masters, and obviously we all still have visions of that epic collapse, and there's no other word for what happened to Jordan. It was an epic collapse. A guy that had a championship won and gave it away. And there's some recovery time when you give it away. And it has taken Jordan fighting his swing, probably fighting the mental fatigue that has come with what happened at Augusta, which now seems like a lifetime ago. But I was listening to his father this week, and he seems to be Jordan that is back in a pretty good spot. He is really fighting negativity this year because I think that was impossible at 22 years of age, really hard to get over. I mean, Tiki, you've lost big games where I can't give you a scenario, but your quarterback throws an interception where you have the field goal to win, you're in field goal range, and
Seattle.
you fumble or there's an interception. I'm sure that's
Jay Feely.
Or Jay Feely, who was our kicker. BT's mentioned in Seattle. He missed 3 field goals. He's put him in position to win. He just kept missing. Sometimes those things happen. But football is different, though, because it's emotional, more emotional than golf, where you can get hit and get mad and kind of snap yourself back in. Golf is so mental. You can just start thinking little things. Well, this guy said this, and this my dad said that I was doing this, and all of a sudden you're all out of whack.
You're all out of whack. So I would not be surprised. Now, I told you that Jimmy Walker and Phil I didn't think would be around on Sunday. I actually think Jordan Spieth will be. I think Spieth is a factor this weekend at Baltusrol. What a story it would be. He is so freaking strong mentally. and grinding, because he hasn't had his good stuff, and he's still been able to have top tens and even win without his good stuff. If he has found something with that swing, to your point, and he's not thinking so much, I think Jordan's got a chance to be around this weekend. Jason Day is still my favorite to win consecutive PGA Championships, but I think Jordan could be around.
Ryan, I know you got to bounce, but I want to throw this at you really quick here. Obviously, a rough start for Rory +4. So he shot an opening round 74. He's teeing off a bit later in the day. I don't. It just feels like everything that comes around or surrounds him lately has been negative, whether it's his take on the Olympics or his role in growing the game of golf, which I actually agreed with because, for whatever reason, I understood it maybe more than it was positioned by some who were just looking to kind of lynch him on Twitter. He just seems, though, as if he's not having a lot of fun. What happened to the fun, Rory McIlroy?
I'll tell you, this is just my perception.
Yeah.
I think he's burned out. I don't think he loves the game of golf. I don't think he wants to be here right now.
Wow.
I think he's got zillions of dollars, and he's been practicing 7 hours a day, 7 days a week since he was 6. And I think right now, I think you're very perceptive. I think he is not having a whole lot of fun and wouldn't mind being somewhere else right now. I could see how easy it would be to happen. Golf is such a singular game. So much of that practice time you are by yourself in the heat, and it is 6, 7 hours every single day, year-round, year after year after year. And people have told me stories, college golfers that, had really good junior careers and they got a college scholarship, and they once told me that the sight of their golf clubs would make them throw up. It
Wow.
just becomes a job. It becomes something that you just can't get away from. And I mean, Rory's entire identity is golf, and I'm 100% with you. He's been a little contentious with the media, which was never Rory. He's always smiling, good, happy-go-lucky. He's one of my favorite guys. I think right now he's a little burned out and might need the reset button in the offseason this year.
That's interesting. Ryan, really good stuff. Have a great time with the Olympics, with the coverage. We'll be watching. Have fun this weekend over at Bolt as well. Thanks, buddy.
You got it. Always great to talk to you guys.
Be good, Ryan.